and welcome to another edition of Simply-FITT. I'm your host, Sandy White, and I am extremely excited. We have Jay on this segment today, and he's going to be talking about anxiety and depression. But before we get right into that, I want to remind you guys our mission is to save 1 million lives through health and nutrition. And the purpose of that is so that we can help individuals overcome suicide and depression. And this is why I am your number one health and wellness cheerleader. And also, guys, I want to remind you, we are very grateful to be on our second season with WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. They are an incredible source for us and for other broadcasters out there. So make sure you click that broadcasters button and look and see what they have going on with the other broadcasters and as well as what's going on in the community. They want to educate you, empower you, and to encourage you. So please make sure you click, subscribe, and donate. They have a lot going on, and I'm sure you can be blessed. And with that being said, let me introduce Jay to you guys. So let me tell you guys, he has a book. If you stay to the end of the broadcast, you will get the link. It is Abundance, a Journey from Anxiety and Depression. It is on Amazon. Again, if you stay to the end of the broadcast, you'll get that link. And it's a really good read. It's 7 chapters, but it's 7 chapters of really good information. Remember, November is the month that we're doing quality mind improvement. Okay, so this is why I'm having all of these wonderful individuals come on to the show to provide you guys with a different perspective on how you can improve your mind. And with that being said, I just want to let you guys know that Jay is a certified nutritionist therapist. He's also a health and wellness life coach. He has 2 businesses. He does run them with his wife. And he is a yoga instructor. He provides support to his community by encouraging the people around him to be well-rounded in their finances, health, and well-being practices. So with that being said, let's welcome Jay to the show so he can give you guys a little bit more information. How are you today, Jay?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I feel super blessed.
Oh, we're super blessed, man. I love that book that you have, and it ties in so perfect with November and with our mission. So I know that in your book, you started out basically letting folks know you had a challenge with anxiety, and you had some strategic tips and strategies that you use to get you where you are now, which is in an outstanding healthy state. Can you let them know outside of why you wrote the book and then what those tips are that it got you where you are now, and what they can use, at least 3 of them that they can use right now?
Okay. So what got me there and what they could use, right?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, I was transitioning from being an employee to entrepreneur. And when I was younger, at 4.5, I saw my mom when I came up from Trinidad. I was born here in New York, but I went back to Trinidad and came back up. And when I came up, I saw my mom in an apartment. So I didn't know what her challenges were. So I didn't want to be a burden on her. So I learned not to ask for anything. So then when I was older now and I'm switching from an employee to entrepreneur, I'm supposed to be making phone calls for real estate. I was into real estate. And making that phone call, I felt like I was asking for something. And when I was younger, I taught myself not to ask for anything. So it was kind of a strain on me. And I'm the kind of guy, if I don't do the work I'm supposed to do, I kind of beat myself up. So for 2 weeks only 2 weeks, I worked overnight as an EMT, right? And I would come home in the daytime and make my room dark. I stopped listening to motivation. I stopped listening to meditation. I stopped working out for 2 weeks. I tried to numb my mind with Instagram, Facebook, Tinder, pornography, you name it, right? Like anything to just numb my mind and shut everything else out. And this voice came into my head one day. And I don't think it was a malicious voice, but it was pretty mean, right? It said, "Hey, Jay, if life is so bad, why don't you just jump out the window?" Right? I'm like, wow. And I'm thinking I live a pretty good life. How could these thoughts even come up for me? And the thought came up again and said, "Jay, if life is so bad, why don't you open the window and jump out, right? Said it a little more violently than that, right? And I was like, wow, imagine how much people face these thoughts. I already knew tools to actually get out of it. So right away, I got up and I shook it off. Next 3 weeks, I closed my first deal in real estate, bought a car, and I still drive that same car, right? Um, but for me, it's meditation, working out, and you know, just taking care of my well-being, eating right, things of that nature, like the things you actually talk about. To me, the biggest thing to do, actually, I was doing it, and then I heard Oprah actually say it, is write down 5 things you're thankful for every night, right? So every night I am thankful for, and whatever you're thankful for, or thank you God, sometimes I write, or whatever you want to write. All right, I am thankful for training your mind to think of positive. So it's really, they're saying I am thankful is already training your mind to think positive. I actually also have beads, 108 beads. So I say one thing I'm thankful for in each one. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for my mother. I'm thankful. I just generate gratitude. They say that has more positive effect on anxiety and depression than even sleep, right? They have an Asian study. I wrote in the book that this Asian study had said that gratitude has more of a powerful effect. So to me, meditation and gratitude are not exactly the same, but I feel gratitude is one of the most important things. So gratitude, meditating, and taking care of your health. But that's 3 things. I could keep going because you should take care of all your areas of life, right? Your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual. I really think you should have a good relationship with your family, your friends, all of those things, and your finances too. It shouldn't be like a stress. You should understand it. All those things in one shot.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. Now you did spend a couple years with the monks. Did you learn the meditation and being and gratitude with them, or a tidbit with them, and then when you transition out? Because I do agree with you. Keeping a gratitude journal, which I do, and I actually have my children do it. I make them do it probably a little more than they would like, but I think it also not only does it help with anxiety and depression, it also keeps you humble and grounded where you're not selfish. Do you agree, or is something else you want to add to that?
No, I agree 100%. That's an awesome job, Sandy. I appreciate that you do that because the more grateful we are, the more at peace we are. And if we want like world peace, the first person that has to be at peace is ourselves. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So let me ask you. You did say, and I think this is kind of tying into that, you, because with all that you had going on, and then you started adding in gratitude, and it started kind of, I don't want to speak for you, but it sounded like it started subsiding the depression and the anxiety. But you also said that you had to learn how to balance all of your responsibilities. Can you share some tips on that? Because there are a lot of people that are just as busy. We're What I like to say is sometimes people are so busy being busy that they're too busy to pay attention to what they really need to do. So how can someone recognize when the busyness is productive, and then actually take that and then balance it so that they have all of their responsibilities together but not feeling overwhelmed? Because I think that brings on anxiety too.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And also, I was just going to throw in, I learned to meditate before the monks. I read a book by
Okay.
Dr. Wayne Dyer called Getting in the Gap, and I just got it aligned with them, the monks. But yeah, how to actually stop the overwhelmness, like feeling overwhelmed, is meditate, like slow down, take 5, 10, even 3 minutes, sit up. People think, oh, it's nonsense. You're just like, oh, you're just sitting there like, right? But it's really active training of the mind, right? You're training your mind to be able to condition and handle other situations. You're actually developing your brain. You're developing the cerebral cortex, which helps you deal with complex situations. And so it's really very fundamental to actually just breathe and relax and take some deep breaths, even when you're driving, right before you eat. There's this thing called Mind Bell that reminds you every hour on hour to breathe, right? Like little things that just remind you to breathe. And to me, the overwhelming feeling has a whole bunch of factors in it. Do you know where you're headed, right? Do you know your purpose in life? Are you journaling? Are you taking time to think? People say, "Oh, I don't even have time to breathe. I don't have 3 minutes." Yeah, right. You know, we all have 3 minutes. We all have 24 hours. I'm not trying to be mean. I love everybody. That's a year right for me. It's if you make time or you don't.
All right. And like I like to journal first thing in the morning. I think that's the for me that is the best time when I can that nobody's up. I mean, I can hear tranquility and peace and I can hear Holy Spirit talking to me. I ask questions before I go to bed at night and usually when I get up or throughout the day, I can hear Holy Spirit saying, "Do this, don't do this, do it this way." And like you said, if you're not quiet, you're not going to hear those subtleties because God is not obligated to repeat himself, nor is he going to be boisterous and loud and overpower you. That's just not his nature. So, I mean, I'm like so loving all of the stuff that you and your wife do. And I went on the website and I'm just going to jump back and forth on some of the things because one of them is the retreat that you guys, I don't think you're having it right now, but talking about tranquility and getting your journal, learning how to journal, being gratitude, having a gratitude journal. And as you mentioned, it's people say what they don't have, but they actually do have it when you stop and you put things, as you mentioned, into priority. What is bringing you the most happiness? And that's what people, I may be wrong, but I think when you sit and you do a dump on what's bringing you happiness and what's bringing you negativity and stress, that's when you need to start cleaning house. But I really love the retreat. We just had another guest on not too long ago, and she had a similar retreat, and it totally relaxes people to no end. Did you want to talk about that a little bit more, or some of the other programs that you guys have?
Well, the retreats, I only do it like exclusively for groups if they order it now. I really don't focus on building it. We could do it as a simple curriculum. It's a great time. And we actually, do vegan for those 4 days. People don't even know. And then we tell them, hey, you're actually going on a vegan diet. And they enjoy it though. They think, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. And they actually have a great time. It was a really good experience. And I use the book. We teach them some health coaching tips as well. But that abundance, a journey from anxiety and depression, that book, actually, if you do the steps in it, because it's not just like step one, step two, it's all throughout the book, actually have a journal to accompany it. If you do those exercises, you could change your life, like in one shot. Like people really don't realize, oh, I don't have a purpose. I don't know what to do in life. They just have to like ask, and they have to ask themselves and realize we have everything. So to me, that's the most fundamental thing in life. Just realize you have everything, all the resources in the world, because we're all one. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be here if you guys ain't set up this show, right?
Right.
I wouldn't be in this house if somebody didn't build it. I wouldn't have that picture if somebody didn't give it to my mother-in-law, right? So we all work together, and I feel that when we all work together, you have everything at your hands. What do you want to do with your life? How do you want to help your family? How do you want to help your friends? How do you want to help the world, yourself? Right.
Yes. Hey Jay, let's take a quick commercial break and then we're going to come back. I got a whole bunch of other questions that I want to ask, and I want you to pick up after the commercial break because one of the things that you mentioned was ask. A lot of people don't know how to ask the right question. So after the commercial break, let's jump right into how do you properly ask. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. See you guys back in a few minutes.
Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Dry Farm Wines. I first met the man known as the healthiest wino on the planet back in 2016. He said his wines don't cause headaches or hangovers, and that he started his company because most wine consumed in the U.S. is highly processed and loaded with unnatural nasties. Like most processed food, it's toxic. That very night, I made a big health decision. Toxic wines out, natural wines in. It's been 4 years since I made the switch, and I feel great. Go to happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy to get your first bottle of natural wine for a penny. And I'll donate 8% of every order placed during the entire month of November to WITV7. Share the gift of natural wine and pour some love this holiday season.
Hey guys, if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Sandy White from Simply-FITT Radio. We provide you guys with simple tips and strategies so that you can overcome suicide and depression through health and nutrition. And right now we're talking with Jay, and he has an incredible book. It's called Abundance, A Journey from Anxiety and Depression. That's what we've been talking about on this segment. And just before the commercial break, I did ask, Jay had made a statement about asking. So I wanted to know, in his program, does he provide individuals on how to properly ask? Because a lot of individuals do not know how to properly ask questions, and this is why they're getting the wrong information being received in their own mind. They're actually beating themselves up. So Jay, do you guys teach people how to properly ask questions?
Well, I only ask a few simple questions, and I think it's really some people can't believe their answers, and they have to wait to receive it and understand it down the road. Like when I wrote down my purpose, I can't believe I would be on that path to do it. I didn't see that in my future, but I wrote it down. I listened, I relaxed, I meditated, and I asked myself the questions, and I wrote it down. I kept it moving. And eventually it came into my life because my mind already knew it. I didn't know it.
So basically what you're saying is you listen to Holy Spirit, those small little tiny voices telling you the positive things and directions to go. And so you said you wrote down what your purpose was, but you didn't know it. What is your purpose, and how are you supporting the community with your purpose?
So my purpose is to actually work to join the world and end suffering, making sure everyone has food, water, shelter, clothing, furthering that to holistic healthcare and education, right? Because I feel very blessed to have all those things. It's actually to inspire the young and those who have given up on themselves. Right now, I was going towards those paths, and then I realized really charity starts at home, and that I have to take care of myself and be happy and joyful. So that's like my purpose. And how I do the latter is I actually create a financial independence business. I help people retire young through online business. And that's my goal, to retire before I'm 30. So I could really focus on helping people. Because if you got to think about money, you're not going to think as purely as you could think to actually support and create these missions, and this also have the funding to do it. So that's actually what I focus on, is that, while my second book is actually written out how to actually help the world and actually show them my story, to really show one another when we talk to each other and how we treat one another, and even our upbringing. So we got to forgive ourselves, but we also got to be mindful of how we talk to one another, because that's going to produce certain things.
Absolutely. So I love the fact that you say your plan and your purpose is to help in the challenges that we have within our immediate, the world. All over. So have you been able to talk with some leaders that can help you get to that point to start moving this? Do you have, actually, let me just ask you this. What's the program that you're using to help with the challenges that we're dealing with in our world right now?
Well, actually, our business, the platform, if you don't grow as a person internally, and start serving other people and just make the world a better place, you're not going to make money, right? So you actually have to become a good person to actually make money. I feel personally, to make money that's long lasting. But in that book, so I know some people that are connected with, Deepak Chopra. I'm hoping to get through there. And one of my businesses were actually connected with John Maxwell. So as I grow through these endeavors, I'm hoping to connect with those people, especially I like Oprah. I know she's connected with Deepak. But just a whole bunch of people. And me, I'm just going to grow my wealth. And a lot of the people I associate with, they already make good money. So I know they will also be willing to fund it. So I want to work on healing people internally and externally heal the world as well. So implementing more agriculture. Um, that's just simple solar energy, eradicating wars, reducing meat production, and simple stuff. And then internally have health and wellness centers throughout the whole world on TV, on in classrooms. Because if we could just come to peace inside each one of us and just take that minute or two to connect with God, connect with our mind, our body, we would relax and we'll just be nice to one another. But we're also busy, like you were saying before. We're busy, 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 busy. That we're mean to other people, and I've been
Right.
there. You know.
And that's mainly, and I like the fact that you said you're incorporating the nutritional part, because a lot of times people don't recognize that when they put the wrong fuel in their body, it really does affect that brain. And then they're trying to figure out why they're acting so. It's a word I want to use, but I don't want to offend anybody. But they're acting really off. And a lot of times I think people need to pay attention when they're at their best, and what were they consuming, what, how well were they sleeping, who were they surrounded with, because sometimes it could, and I always remind people that health and wellness is more than just exercise. It could be the company that you're hanging around with, and if that company is negative and they're constantly draining you, man, that's just like, oh my goodness, that aura, that spirit that you bring in is just like, ah. But you did mention that you want to go. I don't know. I think you guys are already in the school system, because you did mention the school system. I think it's a horrible thing that they have taken out, just educating children on proper nutrition and why. I mean, they're trying to bring it back now, but now, and I think this is a wide open field for a lot of us, like yourself and me, and other nutritionists to go into the school and take advantage of this, because they are recognizing that this is really an important area. So what's the program that you guys have to go into the school, or was that something you were doing prior to the pandemic?
Yeah, since the pandemic happened, it's a little more difficult to get into the schools, but we still are talking to a few schools and just gonna do Zoom chats. But we were predominantly talking to more parents. We also talk to students as well, and even the staff, and we're teaching the teachers how to teach mindfulness. But there's such simple tips to really change your eating habits. Yeah, you want to have all your greens. I take organic supplements. I feel they're important. We don't have time necessarily to consume the 5 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables every day that we need. You know, but simple things is like chew your food, breathe, relax. Slow down. That's some simple tips. But we were getting into schools and talking about it in the overall wellness session. We talked in over 30 plus schools, and we're just gonna grow that. And eventually, I want to create that business into a nonprofit, because right now it's for profit, and that's like my 9 to 5 in a way, while I build my other business. So yeah, that's how I would implement it. Little strategies to teach them how to do it. And even if supplements come about, that organic and that could work, that would be cool. If not, I see a lot of schools incorporating broccoli, carrots. They're putting little things in there that are changing already,
I
but to
think, but
see
when
it
they,
keep
yeah,
going.
but when they add in the broccoli and the carrots, they need to take out some of the things that aren't so well. Let me, guys, Jay's got a lot of stuff. We need to start winding down, because we are at the top of the hour, and he's got such just I love talking to Jay. Guys, I'm telling you, make sure you get the book, The Abundance, A Journey from Anxiety and Depression. He did say that there's a journal that goes with it. It's on Amazon. You'll see the picture and the link at the end of this broadcast. Jay has a lot of other programs, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, Jay. Go over the top, because once you guys go on his website, you can see, all of the other stuff. But just because we got like 5 minutes left, the top programs that you really want people to have at the top of their mind, how can they reach you, website, and if you have a phone number?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so top programs is, I would say, the schools, talking in organizations. I like to have big seminars, which is not conducive right now during COVID. Um, but life coaching, health coaching, We could even do retreats for people, whatever people like, however we could serve people, we want to get to them, right? However we could actually educate them on these simple things. We've been to a whole bunch of health fairs and things of that nature. You can reach me at, my number is 516-453-5190. That's 516-453-5190. My name on Facebook is Jay, last name Sooknanan, Sooknanan. You could always message me because I do have a limited amount of space for friends. Instagram at JJAY Faith FAITH 512. LinkedIn, you could just search, Google my name again, and you could search us on Body, Mind, and Soul BMS.com. So that's BODYMINDANDSOULBMS.com. So BMS is Body, Mind, Soul. And those are some ways you could reach out to us. We love to help people retire young. We think that's a great way to build unity, the business structure. It also builds people into being more wholesome and outreaching to others and serving other people and loving on other people. There's just so many great things that we do. And we just love to connect with people and see where we can serve them. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I would say the books are actually really good. Abundance, A Journey from Anxiety. And this is the journal you were talking about.
Yes.
Your Path to Abundance. It's very simple, actually. And if you just go through it, don't think you need to know everything. Don't think things are set in stone, but we do need direction. If we don't have direction, everything else could overcome us and we will get overwhelmed and not be able to make decisions. We become indecisive, and being indecisive, you think you're not moving, but you're actually going backwards because we have to get stronger every day.
Right. And the Bible even tells us that don't be double-minded, because if you double-minded, just like Jay just said, you're going to stay in the same place. And that's not where you want to be, people. Hey, guys, I have enjoyed myself with Jay. I'm Sandy White, your host of Simply-FITT Radio. We broadcast out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you check your time zone so you don't miss the segment. All right, with that being said, guys, thank you so much. And we don't take it for granted that you guys are on the segment with us each week. And we want to make sure we continue to bring you quality information. So like, share, and please email me if there's some information that you want to know that we haven't provided to you. Until next week, bye, guys.
Later. Thank you.